Welcome everyone. We are back with the Monster Long comms and we are in Tier 2 Monza today. For an exciting, very sunny, hopefully a dry race. Right now it's qualifying. And I think for some predictions, I think this vote, Pete's vote, 100%. In terms of pole, I don't know, I think Botty might be able to grab pole this time. Maybe Pounce as well in the Mercedes. No intended blade, of course. But it's going to be very, very exciting. But we have Huge Penis going on a lap first as he rounds the final corner, the Parabolica, to start his lap. Battery on, DRS open, as he now starts his lap. Very long run down to turn one. Can't even see the battery on the steering wheel. A little bit too much curve, bit of wheel spin on the exit. That's going to lose him about a tenth or so. But of course we are on the bank laps, so that's not important. Gets his braking point very nicely. And I think we have Mark Civic in the chat. Now round Lesmo 1, misses the apex hugely there. And then braking for Lesmo 2, clips the apex very nicely. Good exit on the power. DRS open as we run down to the Ascari chicane. And let's see his set time so far. It is a 52.3. Let's get whoever that is in. There's P. Good to see Wade's joined. I think it was 44. Who was it? Was it this one? Cool, I don't even remember. I don't even remember who added me. I think it might have been this one. But we have an 18-1. Hugh, who was actually watching, said 18-5. But Nanu so far is at the top with an 18-1. We now ride with Risbo as Peter goes fastest. First man into the 17s. And what lap time can Risbo set? Very slow. It's an 18.4. I think I can go faster than Risbo. But we have Panos round in the final corner. Let's see what his banker lap time will be. It's an 18.0, so not too bad for the Greek man. We have Elite Leader who goes on 18.9, maybe a mistake on his lap. Nico's invalidated his run, he's going into the pits. We have Emmanuel who goes round Lesmo 1, round Lesmo 2. I think he just managed to keep it in track limits there. I don't know how I went slow flights when I invited him. It's going to be one online, 100%. There he is. But he has one more corner to go. Braking just after the 15-meter board, flicks into the Parabolica. And what is his overall lap time going to be? It's an 18.4, slots him into P9. Is anyone else on a lap? We have Botti on a lap, Frank Tank, who sets a purple middle sector. And Botti is slightly behind. Will Botti go middle sector? He has. So Botti currently running faster than Frank Tank at the moment, at least in the middle sector. You just see there on the mini-map, Frank Tank entering the final corner, so we're about to see his lap time pop up. and Frank goes P11 with an 18.6. A not a great lap, slots him into P11. He's definitely going to have some time on that lap. Of course, he goes 8th quickest with an 18.4. So most people finish their first runs. We have 6 people currently yet to set a lap time. Wade McCubb has just started a lap, so we'll ride on board with him as he sets his first lap time of the evening, braking hard into turn 1. The rear lock, so will he abandon this lap? No, he continues pushing by the sound of it. Huge rear locking into the first corner though. I think maybe he's just exploring the limits, as that also didn't seem quite like it was on the limits. So instead, you go with Lando Norris fan, that looks his #1 fan. Using a lot of grass there. I don't think that is the optimal line, but he might say otherwise. He sets a purple first sector. Really hops the car over the curves there. It softly turns in. I've seen some flicking into that first lesson there, but he turns in quite smoothly. And through the second lesson, go down to gear 4. I think that's 1 gear lower than he really should be. But now braking just off the 100-meter boards. And I think he's definitely left some time on the table this lap, as of course it is only his first lap. So he just wants to get a time on the board. We have the top 3 who have now just gone into their out lap. The Alpine about to finish their lap. They round the Parabolica Paraguay on, shifting up to the line as they use whatever battery they have left. And it's 19.0. So I think that might be slower than the Kenzie Young, which is very, very concerning. Wade McCubb with a 19.4, he's definitely going to be looking to go faster. Right now we have Trosh on a lap. We are currently about to finish sector 2 and heading to the Safari chicane. He's gone quickest in the middle sector, so looking like a decent lap for him. Pushing the car very hard through the Safari chicane. Now braking for the Parabolica, just a little slight tap of the brakes and you flick the car in to the final corner, pick up power quickly on the exit, and you whoever actually have to the line. What time would it be? Processing 18.1, good enough for P6, as Nico is now on his timed lap. And it's a purple sector 1, so looking like the quickest man in sector 1 so far. He's a bit more of the orange curve than optimal there. But not looking bad for the Polish man. Misses the curve by quite some margin there, but I'm sure it will be alright. And it validates his run, turning slightly too early. Saw him try to correct the steering wheel there, but MJ, the man who won Tier 3 yesterday, an absolute bagger, is now going to start his first flying lap. He's in the Haas today. Yesterday he won in the Papaya McLaren. But while he's going through the first part of the lap, let's see if any of the top 3 will improve. The first person to cross the line is going to be Peter Games. He's currently at the top of the timesheet with a 17.9. Will he improve? And this one is a V-Cup ahead of him. I doubt he'll pick up any toe of that. He improves slightly, 17.9 again, but improves. And Sway also goes up into P2. Nanu backs off with good lap. He's now into the pit lane. Just now has just started his lap. Is there anyone else we can ride on board with finishing their lap? Berg has invalidated one of Mercedes, who's just behind. I think that's a leader, so ride on board with him, see if there's any improvement. He's currently 3 temps up, heading into the Parabolica he goes. He is about to cross the line, using all the battery, and it's an 18.4. So it improves by 4 tenths. I don't think he quite improved his position though, as MJ slots into P4. And this is kind of the discussion we had yesterday. So the Tier 3 driver has just put it into P4 in Tier 2. I think that is bagging at its absolute finest. But I believe Just Style is due to finish their lap soon. He's back top, so maybe he's going to win lap. But Panos, who's going fastest at the moment, he's at a purple middle sector. And now just one more braking zone as McLaren ahead. He gets nicely out of the way. Rizzo somehow goes into P4. I don't know how that's possible for him. But good lap from him as he's just outside of the 117s. Only 2 people in the 117s at the moment. Make lap 3 as Panos slots into P2 and splits to 2 McLarens. And that is my absolute goat. And I think the plan for the race is to just straight line everyone else around them. Mercedes 1-2 coming for the race. And Oliver says gay. To anyone else on that board, he's on the lap, but he invalidated. I think with Frank Tank, who's just started lap, he has full battery, so we ride on board with him for the time being. Yellow flags in the final sector. I'm sure that's just people heading into the pit lane. Frank Tank currently 2 tenths up on his lap time. And that is his lap time actually done, as we've seen him try to accelerate on grass and think it would work. Anyway, Trosh is on and out lap, so I guess we'll stick with him to see his lap. But behind, and he's invalidated. And what's all this about? Right then, I don't think that... Well, that definitely isn't the optimal line around the Ascari. Or Wade McCubb on a lap who seems to not have improved in Sector 1. And Wade seems to be struggling around Monza. And Frank Tank retired as... I have no clue what happened. He's retired at the Parabolica, so maybe just straight lined into a wall. But I'm not too sure. But Trosh has absolutely mounted the car over the curb at turn 1. Let's see his sector. He's slightly down on his sector 1 time, so down by 500ths of a second. Completes the second chicane quite nicely, now braking for the Lesmos. Barely a brake. I think it's about 20% brake when you flip the car in. Josh getting a purple sector 2. Not optimal through the Ascari, but it will do. And now it's just one more braking zone. He's going to save some battery for the final run down to the line as he flicks the car in. He's on no line, so he's turning a bit too early. As you can see, he flipped the grass there on the apex, and I thought he was going to come into the pit lane, but he improved by a tenth of a second, and he just about fits into the 117s. He slots into P4. But now we're going to ride on board with the Sauber, who's on the lap. He's missed that apex by some margin. But DRS open as he now runs down to Ascari. There's Red Bull ahead of him, so he'll get out of the way on the run down to Parabolica. And the Sauber has invalidated, so the next man to start their lap will be Berg, who currently sits himself in P10 with an 18.2. Quite slow, if you ask me. But unless he's fueled for 2 laps, I believe this is going to be his final run. So sit with Berg for now, see if there's any improvements to be made in his lap. And another driver is going to be marginal for is Trosh. I'm not sure if Trosh is going to be able to get into the pit lane and then get back out. Unless, of course, he's fueled for 2 laps. But Burb setting a purple sector 1. So maybe using a bit more battery in the first sector than other people. It's all about the way you use the battery around this track. As you'll see, it is 90% full throttle. Around basically 90% full throttle. Purple sector 2 as well for Burb as he messes up the entry in his, bucks it into the wall. But the people we will want to see is the top 3. So we have Peter Games going for his final flying lap now. His 2 competitors are slightly behind him, but he's looking close at the top, as the top 8 only split by a 1/10 and a half of a second. That's how close it is today in Tier 2, sorry. And Peter completes the first chicane, uses the curve quite nicely, and picks up the traction. I love big black man. Interesting comment from Luke, as he admits he likes big black men. Is there any improvements to be made by Peter? His half a 10th up to purple sector 1, very optimal through his Scari. The McLaren absolutely pushing the rails, as he now has one more braking zone left. It's hardly a braking zone, braking just after the 50-meter board. And let's see how well he's going to be able to optimize this. And he's slightly away from the curb, but he picks up traction nicely, hugs the inside of the parabolic, and let's see what kind of improvement he's made. And it's improvement by around a 10th of a second. He is on provisional pole with 18.1. Your Panos behind him is currently a 10th, around 2 tenths up, as he set a purple sector 2. As people finishing their laps, the Red Bull just about gets out the way there for Panos, as Panos brakes for the final corner. Will he be able to take provisional pole off of Peter Games? And Sway didn't manage to improve on his lap, so that's his qualifying over. And Panos goes provisional pole position with a 17.7 and an absolutely cracking lap from the Mercedes. Elite leader stays P12. Manu goes up to P6. I think he stays P6 actually. He didn't improve this time. But MJ with an 18 flat. And Rizbo, that is not how you take the Ascari chicane. But he's going to sit exactly where he is. But a nice qualifying session we had there, as Nico, who's still on a lap. Nico and Gucci still on a lap. Currently are only 2 yet to set a time. Nico flicks it into the parabolica, and this is going to be his first time lap, so let's see what he can make of this. And it's only good enough for P13 with an 18.3, and Gucci, I believe, stays in P20 as he evaluated on his lap. But a man on pole position, my absolute GOAT, is Panos Viras. And that's 2 poles for Mercedes in 3 races. And no glaze intended, but the Mercedes TP must be doing extremely well. But that is your grid. The Greek man manages to top the timing sheets. No, we ignore Australia. If we ignore Australia, we're doing well. We've got quick drivers. They just haven't been able to maximise performance each weekend. But watch, I'm promoted from Tier 3 actually, so I need to find a new Tier 4. I need to find someone I can get in Tier 4. But anyway, can we get some race predictions? It's looking like it's dry. Panos on pole. Panos win, I'm all for it. Panos win, an elite bleeder P2, I'm all for it. A 1-2 for Mercedes. Hopefully McLaren get double DNF. They're doing a bit too well for constructors. But we head to 5 red lights in Monza. And it's lights out and away we go in Tier 2. And Peter starts on the mediums, Panos on the hards, and Peter seems to get better traction off the line. Peter has the Mercedes of Nihir Basara side by side with him as Nihir tries to go around the outside of Panos. Panos managing to keep the lead into turn 1, but is there any commotion? As a lot of them managed to keep it clean, maybe a few end plates missing, but that's about it. No one really spun round, and as I say that, people going off into the wall, the 2 V-Cobs actually spewing into the wall. They done very well in Australia qualifying. The 2 V-Cobs destroying their front wing, and effectively that's their race over with. No safety car in this tier, of course. The V-Cobs are effectively out of the race, out of winning contention. But we have a Mamotia making a move around the outside of Frank Tank, and he's unable to complete that move, so he's going to have to settle for P17 currently, as one of the Alpines goes off the circuit there. I think that's Luther. As will the Sauber be able to claim a position? His starts on the hards. Let's show the tyres. We've built them up to them through. So we have 4 people starting the hards. We have Luther, Panos, Berg, and Elite leads. The 2 Mercedes opt in for the hard compound tyre. And now it is all about these first few laps. Who's going to keep their tyres cool, and their engine, of course. Engine overheating is a big issue here. Of course, you're running trains at full throttle, so the engine does tend to get worked up. And Luther, 10-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. He is our first retiree from this race, as I believe there is a few more people. Kieran Froome boxes. Nico is also into the pit lane, and Botti has retired from this race as well. So unfortunate for the 2 V-Cob drivers. I doubt they can be able to climb their way back up. But the man who leads after lap 1 is Panos. Nihir managed to make a position on Peter. Sway, I believe, has lost a couple of seconds. But now they enter formation for the next 25 laps of this race, as now I assume it will just be a train to the end. As you can see, most people still connected in the train. So train until down to P14, which is Drucci. He's disconnected by about 5 tenths, so he needs to get back in. The 2 Williams do look like they're closing down each other, and just now quite close to the rear of Sway. And Frank Tank also retires from this session. So 3 laps in, and we already have 3 retirements in this race. And if I'm honest, I'm surprised the 2 guys at the back, Kieran Froome and Nico, haven't retired, as obviously no safety costs, so it's going to be hard for them to make up positions. And someone who does seem keen to make a position. So having to stay on the brakes for slightly longer, not able to sling around the outsides. And I think that's all we're going to see for the next few laps. Reggie underwater Mike. Cheers. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm sure it wasn't, but I'll take it as one. And Josh Stout seems to be keen to make a move on Sway. He's currently leading Red Bull with his teammates starting on the hards down in P11. But the Hasselhoff seeming to get close to the rear end of the Ferrari. We see the Williams maybe going for a slight look on the car ahead. And we have our fourth retiree of the session, who is Emmanuel, who is also retired from this race. Let's get some early predictions. How many finishers are we seeing in this race? We've already got 4 DNFs, 5 laps in. I reckon we could go for another 5 more. Going for one finish. I hope it's Panos who finishes. He's currently the hards as well. Losing the hards, especially in a race where there's no safety cars. He's in for a good shot at winning this race. And I highly doubt. And Sway almost dropping out the DRS. He's currently 1.1 behind the 2 Haas drivers. And will he be able to creep back in? And now the gaps are starting to get a little bit far as Nanu almost disconnected from the top 3. It's currently sitting at 9 tenths and it's just dropped out of the second. So he's going to want to get back in for the DRS detection point at the Lesmos. And it seems like Nico has spun down the Parabolica, and I assume those 2 are just going to retire. Kieran Froome's into the pits, he's sped in the pit lane, he's retired from this session. Nico's also into the pits, and we expect to see him retire. That's 2 more. 6 retirements, and we haven't even finished lap 6 yet. Crazy. And Panos seeming to have very good pace at the front of that train as he's managing to get the guys behind to start to drop out of the DRS. So maybe Panos realising that the mediums are starting to drop off and maybe starting to push a little bit more. He still has Nahar up his rear wing though. He's only half a tenth behind, half a second behind, sorry. But is Peter going to stay in the DRS? Yes, he is. Nanu also creeps into the DRS. But Josh we saw there getting very close to the rear wing of the Ferrari, just waiting for the main straight to make a move, and Nanu is out of DRS, 1.7 behind. There's no way he's going to make that back up before the second detection point. Peter just slightly falls out of DRS. Is he going to be able to get back in by the time we get to the detection point? He's still currently set outside. I don't think he's got it. Let's see the rear wing. And Peter does not have DRS, so he's also disconnected from the top two. Nanu currently running P5 now as he gets overtaken by Josh. Is the second Haas going to go for a move? MJ up the inside, hops over the curb, maybe going to perform a switchback. I think slightly got rear-ended by Sway there. Jucci's in, he's got a 10-second speed in. We're going to see a retirement from him as well. And the second Haas of MJ has also got past Nanu, but Nanu's starting to come back. He's backed out of the move. He's going to sit behind the rear wing of the Haas. And Nanu seems like he's struggling on those medium tyres. Maybe Sway also. People we expect to see rise up though are Berg and Elite Leader. So we do expect to see them start to make some moves as the mediums start to go numb. And I think this is a good opportunity for Berg. He's sat just under 2 tenths behind Sway. And look how much later he's able to brake with the better tyres at this stage of the race, and he's already along slides just before we get to the checkered line there. They're both using DRS, maybe Sway using slightly more battery there as he's able to cover off Berg, but Berg under braking, he's going to try to go for it. And Elite Leader makes an advancement on Justau. He is now up into P9. And the two hard runners, you must say, are starting to make some progress. And Campanos, the gap is currently 9 tenths. Campanos gap the here by a second to make sure he's not in the DRS. Only 9 tenths. The Aston Martin's going to have DRS down this straight, as we heard the beat. So he does have DRS for this little straight. Sway now disconnected from the train, so it should be a fairly easy move for Berg on this next straight. Maybe even Elite Leader might be able to get past under the braking, but he seems slightly too far behind. And Nanu and Sway are first two men into the pit lane, so that has released Elite Leader and Berg with some clean air. And Elite Leader seeming like he's going to try to make a move on Berg. He's going to go for it under braking as they both lock up. No contact, surprisingly, but Berg just managing to hold on to that position. Brilliant try from the Mercedes, but just locking up under braking. Berg managed to hold the position. And we should see them start to catch the pack ahead, as at this stage they will have the better tyres. Obviously, we will expect the other guys to start to head into the pit around either this or next lap. That would be the optimal strategy for the medium runners at this stage. And Berg seems like he's got some pace in him as he almost dropped Elite Leader out of DRS. And Peter and MJ feeling like their tyres have gone off, and Peter gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so that's completely thrown his race out the window. And we already have Lou in the chat calling Peter an idiot, and sometimes you just can't push the braking on the pit entry. Sometimes you have to be safe, especially when you're running in trains like this. It's better to be safe than sorry, some may say. And we missed the Elite Leader, managed to get past the Red Bull. But these two are going to have to work together to make sure they can get as big of an advantage as possible on these hard tyres, so that when they go onto the mediums, they can recatch the pack and make some moves. And Drucci, our 7th retirement of this race. So we have an Alpine double DNF, Sauber double DNF, and a V-Carb double DNF, and also one Aston Martin out of the race, and one currently running in P2. He's been dropped by Panos, but he's into the pits on this lap. Manages to keep it clean on pit entry, so does Josh. We expect to see Wade McCubb and Risbo in as well. Risbo stays out for another lap, so he's going to do 12 laps on this medium compound. As Burb, and they're just doing DRS trading. As they won't want to lose time battling. But currently Panos, who is looking very comfortable at the moment. He is sat almost 10 seconds ahead of these two. As of right now, Peter, the only one with a penalty in this race. And that, of course, is for speeding. So right now, no penalties from track limits. Only from speeding. As Risbo comes into the pit lane, he keeps it clean. And he's in maybe a lap too late, as everyone seems to have undercut him. I'm not sure where he was before everyone pit, but he's definitely going to come out sometime behind Wade. And Burb has managed to drop out of DRS. So can now Burb try to improve his pace for the last around 5 laps of this stint to make sure Elite Leader stays out of the DRS? Well, we have just now currently sat just outside the points, battling with Hugh, or trailing Hugh, more seems like. And now I would assume it is just going to be a straight train to the end of the race. Unless, of course, you're in a situation like this where you're close and the car ahead does not have DRS. We should expect to see the move from just out on cue. As you already there, you can see him saving battery. Just out breezes past the Williams and comfortably up into P10. So with pit lane delta, I believe pit lane delta is around 24 seconds here. So we expect to see Panos come out into P8 as it currently stands. And if Sway and Justau manage to improve their pace, and Justau has caught Sway very quickly actually, as he's already making a move up into Ascari, and that was very easy for Justau. Sway didn't even try to fight it, and Justau seems like he has some pace, so now 6 seconds adrift from the train ahead, which is P5 to P8. An elite leader already coming into pit lane. So is he going to be able to get those mediums to the end? He's got 12 laps to do on this medium. Obviously you're lighter fuel, but you're going to be pushing slightly more to overtake cars. So we'll see how he manages to go till the end. Where is he come out? I believe in between Wade and Risbo, as Wade just goes past the Mercedes. And in between the Ferrari and the Williams. So I'm sure it will be easy pickings once he gets those up to temperature and gets comfortable in that compound. But Herb and Panos may be coming in this lap, maybe next lap. But they do definitely have some overtaking to do, especially Burb. Burb will come out just behind Risbo, I reckon, at this stage. He boxes now. And Panos into pit lane, he keeps it clean. Will Burb push the pit entry? And though he slows down nice and early, prepares for the pit lane, and I believe, or I expect him to come out just behind Risbo. As Panos is going to slot out in between the Haas and the Red Bull of Justau. So he's in some clean air. He's going to be able to bring them nicely into the race. And let's see what kind of pace he has to get. He has 7 seconds to Nihir, who currently leads this race. He's on the alternate strategy to Panos. So this seems like it is a 2-horse race between Nihir and Panos for the win. And Burb managed to get out ahead of Risbo, but behind Wade. So his battle and elite leader is now going to be able to scamper down the road unless Burb can do something quickly. He's going to have to do something along this DRS zone here, or the one coming up, if he does want to stay intact with the Mercedes. But Wade also has DRS, that's not going to help Burb by any means. And a lot of understeer, wash and wide on the first apex of Ascari. And Wade McCubb managing to keep with Elite Leader. You would think Elite Leader would pull away quite quickly on those mediums. But Peter getting the clean air for the engine temp will be an issue. Probably around 142, I think that's what engine temps were yesterday. But they were very high as Burb spins round, so he just missed that, managed to catch the end of it. But Burb seems like he may have touched the grass. He has some grass on his right tyre. But Burb may be clipping the grass and just spinning the car around. So his battle and elite leader is now absolutely gone. And that's very unfortunate for the Red Bull, going for a move on what was, I believe, Wade McCubb into the turn 1 chicane. But now running P13 out of the points, 5 seconds behind Risbo, who has a penalty, and I believe that would be for track limits. Yes, only 3 seconds. Yeah, and I think Berg is probably just going to retire, judging by what we just saw. He has absolutely lost the plot. Very unfortunate. It would have been exciting to see him battle with the Mercedes, but now we expect to see him come into pit lane. And yeah, he's just going to retire from this race. He's going to be our 8th retirement. So double DNF weekends for Berg in the Red Bull, and not a good start to his Tier 2 campaign in Season 16. Yeah, Peter got 10 seconds for speeding. But Panos Vieras has caught the back of the train, and he's going to want to be able to get past quickly, as his battle is 3 seconds ahead of this train, 4.5 from himself. And almost running out of track limits there on the exit of the Scari. Car washing wide from the dirty air. Trying to cool the engine there as Trosh has overspeed on MJ. And you saw the car almost lose itself there, heading into Parabolica. But now Panos should make an easy move on Trosh as he now advances into P5. He's going to want to keep control of these mediums so that he has enough in them to push for the leader of this race, currently Mihir Basara. An 8-lap old hards. I believe he hit around lap 11. And Panos is going to go for another move, this time on MJ. They've been battling all week on Discord, 1v1ing, but this time it is Panos who does make the position and is ahead of MJ. And seems to be making advancements extremely quickly. Now he has Peter game, so I'm sure won't battle this too hard, as he has 10 seconds. He won't want to lose time from this. But we look from the rear wing of Peter and see Panos making the move. As into a Scari they go, and Panos is now up into P3, making quick work of these guys in the hards. And now just one car left to go before he's in clean air and can set after the Ferrari. And Panos going for even more clean air for the engine. And now how quickly can Panos gain on Nanu? Nanu is saving the battery though, so it should be easy work for Panos as he now moves back onto the racing line. And easy move. Now it is all focus on the car ahead, the Aston Martin. And he's going to be going for the lead of this race. Already cut down 3 tenths of a second from turn 1 to now. And the elite leader surprisingly not able to gap McCubb. So maybe he's struggling on the mediums or trying to save. Obviously he boxed lap 15, so he's got 12 laps to do on this tyre as opposed to Panos' 11. Interesting. So mediums only better for about 4 to 5 laps, which Panos has now got to that 5-lap stage. Still 3.6 seconds behind, so it's going to be difficult from the information we're getting for Panos to now catch the leader of this race. Still 6 laps remaining, including this one though, of this Italian Grand Prix. You have 8 DNFs. And still bringing behind the train of the hard runners behind him, and he's going to want to be able to detach from them quickly before those tyres do fully fall off the cliff. Yeah, GB, I would agree. 8 DNFs is unreal. I think in the first 6 laps we had about 6 DNFs. And MJ, 10-second penalty for corner cutting, so I wonder what happened there. Maybe forced off the road. And will he look to get that removed? Is his picked up a 10-second? I wonder if what's Nanu's penalty? Nanu has a 3 seconds, so Peter and MJ with a 10-second penalty, that's going to drop them all the way down into P10 and P9. So the 2 Williams would advance 2 positions, and everyone else behind them, except from Elite Leader and Wade McCubb, will drop down, will pick up 2-3 positions from their penalties. Nanu currently will only drop down into P6 if he can keep the 3-second gap to Trosh, which, considering they're not in the same train, does seem possible. Wait, Berg, what happened? You got forced onto the grass by the Ferrari or something else? That's what it seemed. It seemed like you had grass on it. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, let's have a look at this ticket quickly, see what happened, because we managed to catch the end of it, which was you spinning off into the runoff area, but didn't catch what actually happened. So it's labelled moving under braking, and yeah, that's clear as day. Very obvious penalty. Yeah, I think that's the most obvious penalty I've ever seen in my life, to be fair. So Panos has managed to cut down some time on P1, but will it be enough? There are only 3 laps remaining in this race. Peter seems to be struggling with the tyre. We've seen a lock-up and some wheel spin within the same section of corners. But still managing to be faster than Nanu, almost dropping him out of DRS. But he has a very fast Saudi Arabian man behind him, who is ready to unleash the bombs and make an overtake on the Ferrari. Haha, see what I done there. He's like, he released him. You get it? unleash the bombs. But I think Panos is running out of time. Only 2 laps remaining, and he's not yet into DRS of the Aston Martin. So the Aston Martin, huge lock up there we saw. But like I was saying, the Aston Martin seems like he is in the clear as long as he can keep it clean on the road. You see the Mercedes there just in the background, and he's struggling. We saw some oversteer on the exit of the first Lesmo, and it is safe to say Panos is running out of time, and it is looking like a double win for Mihir Basara. This could see his entry into Tier 1. But what I'm really focused on is the battle behind. You have MJ with 10 seconds and Peter with a 10 seconds also. And then Nanu, who has a 3 seconds, he's definitely going to lose out to Trosh. So Trosh is effectively P3 right now after penalties, as he makes an easy move with DRS on the Haas. The two people battling out this is good. Probably losing. Hannes is basically losing time now. Yeah, listen, don't even violate. My comms are 10-10. 10-10 non-long comms. No one can top these comms. I mean, obviously, you've got GB and Oliver, but they're like the normal commentators of emotion. When do you ever find a commentator like me? I'm a rare find. I would not care about anything. It's got to be both, innit? But anyway, Mihir Basara chose the mediums at the start. He's now on the hards, almost at puncher risk. But he rounds a final corner, manages to hold off Panos and wins the Italian Grand Prix in amazing fashion, similar to how he won Australia. And Panos coming down in P2, MJ crossed the line in P3, but him and Peter have 10 seconds. They're going to drop down the order. That advances Trosh onto the podium, just out into P4, Nanu P5, and the worst race I've ever seen, to be fair. That was extremely boring to commentate on, I'll be honest. I'll have more fun commentating Tier 2, Tier 4 now, as I have now nothing to do on a Thursday. So I'll probably end up commentating with Oliver Lois. I'm not a bad commentator. I'm a 10-10 commentator. Like I said, you don't get much better than me. I'll be honest. 10-10 B, 10-10 com. Exactly. Panos knows what I want. Not Panos, Yeltsin. Always got Panos in my mind. Such a cute young man. Panos is a very, very sexy young man. I don't think you've seen Panos. Panos is extremely cute. I would hit if he let me. I mean, he's let me a couple times, but nothing special. He hasn't treated me properly. Oh, I didn't know Palace was here. I can't lie. Keep it PG. I don't know about PG. It's not my kind of thing. All right, we're gonna do the GB outro. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to showroom, which is what GB does, and then I believe he shows the winning car. So he does this, does that, and then just kind of like sits there and lets it do its thing. Is GB still here? GB, is this what you do? He was here earlier. Well, guys, it was an amazing race. Panos Pookie, you should have done better. I was expecting a win from you there, but you got. Yeah, this is what you do. No, you sit here and you. I don't know what I usually leave by this point, but you look at. I've seen you look at the winning car or something like that. This is what I like to call the GB outro. It's a very, very nice car, very nice livery. A lot of carbon. If we zoom in, you can see the carbon effects. Lots of sponsors. But that's all from Tier 2 today. As you can see, the Aston Martin of Nahir Bassara won. But what do you mean few? Nah, that's a bio. It's not my decision, I'll be honest. It's well, it's all the admins and stuff decision. I don't just do it. I just post it because I handle the transfer thing. Well, a very nice race. Anyway, I'm off now. I'm gonna go have a goon before I play GTA. See you later, everyone.